Hello, beautiful people. It's Lulu. I've been thinking, what makes a hard day even worse? Someone telling you to just be positive. Ever been hit with, look on the bright side, when your world was falling apart, or told, you have so much to be grateful for, when you were barely holding it together? Yeah, it's happened to me. And let me tell you, that's not mental fitness. That's emotional avoidance, cleverly wrapped in a motivational quote. Real mental fitness is about building the capacity to stay present and engaged with our whole life, the magnificent and the messy, the joyful and the painful, the easy and the challenging. It's about embracing those what the actual fuck moments and not running from them. Real mental fitness isn't about living in a bubble of positivity, not while your world crumbles around you. It's not about pretending everything's fine when it isn't. Today, we're going deep on what mental fitness really means and why the just be positive approach falls desperately short. And we're going to explore some practical tools that build genuine resilience. Because, beautiful people, life isn't meant to be escaped from or avoided, it's meant to be lived fully. Welcome to the Lulu Essey podcast, where we do things differently. There is no editing here and no polish. These are real, raw, honest conversations that give you practical tools to transform your life from the inside out. Over the past few episodes, we've explored consistency, habits, how to stay motivated when the initial excitement fades. But I realized something important. All of these tools and frameworks rest on a foundation of mental fitness. We've explored parts of this in our series on mental fitness, but it is so crucial that as a concept, it is worth diving in again and getting clear on a few important points. Mental fitness grows with you. It's never one and done. Think of mental fitness as the soil in which everything else grows. It's your foundation, and when that foundation is weak, that is when you're more likely to struggle in different areas of your life. Today's episode is not separate from what we've been discussing or from previous episodes on mental fitness. It's the thread that ties everything together. At the heart of all my work is this truth. Transformation happens from the inside out, and mental fitness is the foundation where that inside work begins. Let's start by clearing something up. Mental fitness is not the absence of negative emotions, and it's also not about feeling good all the time. And it's definitely not about bypassing the hard stuff or being in any kind of denial or avoidance. Think of it like physical fitness. When you're physically fit, you don't avoid physical challenges. You develop the strength to meet them. You build endurance, flexibility, and power. Mental fitness works the same way. You're not trying to avoid life's challenges. You're building the capacity to engage with them fully. Here's what mental fitness is not. It's not toxic positivity. And it's also not pretending everything's fine when it isn't. Mental fitness is not avoiding emotions, forcing a smile, or just thinking happy thoughts. What mental fitness is, on the other hand, is the ability to feel all your emotions without being swallowed or ruled by them. It's being flexible, not fragile. It's building the capacity to adapt and change, to uncertainty, and the flexibility to respond thoughtfully and not react impulsively. It's learning to stand in discomfort without running from it, and it's having the strength and resilience to face challenges, not avoid or deny them. Mental fitness is the capacity to be okay even when you're not okay. And that's not just clever wordplay. It's accepting that you can be in a place that's both hard and overwhelming. Think about the last time you ignored or it numbed a tough emotion. Did you push it down, distract yourself, tell yourself to get over it? Did you bury yourself in work, scroll endlessly on your phone, or pretend you were fine? Did you turn to food or alcohol to numb it, or go to online shopping? Now ask yourself this: what would have been different if instead of avoiding it, you let yourself feel it? What if you just sat with it without judging it, fixing it, or running from it? What if you just sat in that discomfort and allowed it? If that hit you, don't just think about it, act on it. DM me right now with one word: feel. I want to know, what's one emotion you've been avoiding lately? I read every message I get. So let me tell you how I learned this distinction the hard way. I had a powerful moment of realization about this a few years ago. I was going through a really shitty transition in my life, and I was a mess. A well-meaning friend told me, just focus on the positive. It could be a lot worse. You have so much to be thankful for. And I remember feeling so confused and ashamed of what I was feeling, and it just made me want to withdraw. What my friend didn't understand, and what many of us have been taught to misunderstand, is that bypassing, avoiding, or suppressing difficult emotions doesn't make us stronger. It makes us more fragile. True mental fitness comes from expanding our capacity to feel everything, not from restricting our emotional range. Being able to feel the full range of emotions is where true power and self-regulation lies. And this range goes from what the actual fuck to bliss and includes every emotion along the way. And research backs this up. Studies from psychologists like Dr. Susan David, and I've mentioned her work before when we spoke about facts versus feelings. Well, their studies show that emotional agility, which is the ability to face difficult emotions with curiosity rather than trying to suppress them, it's associated with better life outcomes, including stronger, healthier relationships, more effective leadership, and increased overall well-being. Take a little moment right now and think about, how often do you try to push away difficult emotions, to avoid them or deny them when they pop up? What do you think might change if you develop the fitness to experience them fully without being swallowed by them? Let's talk about why mental fitness matters so deeply in our lives. What makes it worth investing in? Because, like any investment, you want to know your returns are likely to be before committing. I get that. So, why does mental fitness matter? Well, first, mental fitness is the foundation for everything else that is important to you. Think about it. Your relationships, your work, your physical health, your creativity, your ability to grow and learn. All of these depend on your mental and emotional capacity. And here's something we don't talk about enough. Avoiding life's challenges costs way more than facing them. I'll explain this. When we lack mental fitness, we tend to do one of two things. We either avoid challenges altogether, denying they exist, or we force ourselves through them while being disconnected from our emotions. Both approaches come with real hidden costs. Avoidance or denial might feel comfortable in the very short term, but over time it shrinks your life. Your world gets smaller as you stay within the narrow band of what feels manageable. And avoidance doesn't just affect you. It affects your relationships, your growth, and ultimately your sense of meaning and purpose. And it impacts your physical health. On the other hand, pushing through without processing, what I call grit without grace, leaves emotional residue that accumulates over time. Think about it like never cleaning the filter in your vacuum cleaner. Eventually, that filter is so clogged that the vacuum cleaner can't suck up a speck of dust. Take a moment to think about your own emotional filter. How clogged is it right now? Here's what I find most compelling. Mental fitness isn't just preventing breakdown. It's about creating the conditions for genuine joy, deep connection, and meaningful growth. And we do that by having the emotional resilience to embrace all of life. Think about someone you know who seems to have this quality. Someone who faces life's challenges with both strength and openness. These people aren't immune to pain or difficulty. They feel it all, but they have the capacity to be with those experiences without being defined by them. I was thinking about a dear friend while preparing for this episode. She lost her mother last year after a long illness. The grief was profound. It literally tore her to shreds. But what struck me was how she allowed herself to fully feel that grief while also staying engaged with her life. She didn't try rush through it or pretend she was fine. She was open about her confusion, her despair, and her not knowing how to so-called handle grief. She developed the fitness to hold both her pain and her life that kept moving forward. Each day had things that needed to be done. And here's what was remarkable. Because she was able to be fully present with her grief, she was also able to be fully present with moments of joy when they emerged. She didn't have to numb everything. She had the fitness to experience it all. Was it easy? No way. And that is not the point. Was it messy? Absolutely. And today her heart is expanded. She is more of herself, not less. That's what we're aiming for. Not a life free from challenge or pain, but the fitness to engage with whatever arises in a way that allows us to keep growing, connecting, and living fully. Pause for a moment. What would be different if your mental fitness was stronger? Think about how would you approach life's sucky bits differently? What opportunities do you think would open up for you? Take a few seconds to consider this. So, how do we build mental fitness? Now that we understand what mental fitness is and why it matters, let's talk about how we actually build it. Because, like physical fitness, mental fitness doesn't happen overnight. It develops through consistent practice over time. I want to share three what I think are essential building blocks that form the foundation of mental fitness. These aren't quick fixes or surface level strategies. They're fundamental practices that expand your capacity to engage with your whole life. The first building block is developing awareness of your emotions and practicing acceptance. Not as an end point, but as a starting point. I call this emotional awareness and acceptance. And this is our E in our enough framework. Embrace where you are right now. I break down the enough framework in episode 9, and it's really worth going back and giving it a listen. It's a powerful tool to use in your life. But back to this episode. E, embrace where you are right now. Emotional awareness means being able to recognize and name what you're feeling. It sounds simple, but it's profound. Research shows that the simple act of naming emotions reduces their intensity and helps engage the rational part of our brain. This is the work of the amazing Dr. Daniel Siegel, professor of psychology at UCLA School of Medicine, who coined the phrase, name it to tame it. And I've spoken about his work before. Try this right now, wherever you are. Check in with yourself. What are you feeling in this moment? Can you name it specifically? Maybe you're feeling curious or skeptical, hopeful or anxious or angry or frustrated or some combination. Whatever it is, just notice it. Now comes the acceptance part. This doesn't mean you have to like whatever you're feeling. It means you acknowledge it as part of your current experience without judgment. This is where I'm at right now. This is what matters. Accepting a feeling does not mean you have to like that feeling. Don't confuse the two, or that you feel comfortable with that feeling. We can accept feelings that just plain suck. Recently, I was feeling so overwhelmed with some podcast deadlines. But instead of trying to push through or beat myself up, I paused and thought, I'm feeling anxious and inadequate. I'm scared. Am I enough? And then came the acceptance. That's okay, Lulu. It makes sense given the pressure I'm under. I'm okay. That simple moment of awareness and acceptance didn't make those feelings magically disappear, but it gave me space and clarity to respond thoughtfully rather than react desperately from the feeling. That's mental fitness in action. The second building block might surprise you. I want to talk about deliberate discomfort. Sounds a bit whack, right? It's deliberately engaging with manageable discomfort. This is how we expand our capacity. Just like gradually increasing weights in the gym builds physical strength. And here's the key thing. I am not talking about traumatic or harmful experiences. I am talking about consciously choosing to engage with challenges that stretch you without breaking you. It's what some psychologists call optimal challenge. This might look like having a difficult conversation that you've been avoiding. Yes, that one that you keep waiting for the right time to have. It could look like saying no when people pleasing would be so much easier and would keep you in your comfort zone. It might look like sitting with uncertainty rather than rushing to a decision. It's amazing what unfolds when we are willing to sit in uncertainty and discomfort. But normally, we just try and run away from it, fix it, or ignore it. Deliberate discomfort could also mean trying something new where you might not excel right away. Are you willing to be a beginner or to not be immediately good at something? Each time we deliberately engage with manageable discomfort, we're sending a powerful message to our brain. I can handle more than I thought. I'm more capable than I believed. And here's why this matters. Ever tried holding a beach ball underwater? At first you think you've got it completely handled, until suddenly it shoots up with such force. That's what happens when we avoid discomfort. The more we push it down, the harder it fights back. I started practicing this years ago when I realized how much of my life was structured around avoiding discomfort. I began with small steps, speaking up in meetings when I would have stayed silent, initiating conversations I would normally have avoided, staying with difficult emotions instead of distracting myself with food or alcohol or a little online purchase. These weren't dramatic changes, but over time they expanded my capacity significantly. Things that once seemed overwhelming became manageable. My life got bigger as my avoidance got smaller. While deliberate discomfort builds our capacity, we need something equally important to make that growth sustainable. Self-compassion is our third building block. It's developing a compassionate relationship with yourself. And this is where the L in our love framework comes in. Listen to your inner voice. I unpack the love framework in episode 4. It's a must. It's such a powerful tool for every aspect of your life. Go back and have a listen. Mental fitness is not aligned with harsh self-criticism or negative self-talk. It's built through kind, honest, a supportive relationship, the kind of relationship you might have with a coach, someone who believes in your capacity while acknowledging your current limitations. That's the kind of compassionate relationship we need with ourselves if we want to thrive. Practically, self-compassion means talking to yourself with the same kindness you'd use with someone close to you, a friend, a child. It means acknowledging both your strengths and your struggles, your weaknesses, and your accomplishments. Self-compassion is focusing on growth rather than perfection. Progress over perfection always. Self-compassion is treating setbacks as information, not identity. Failure or a setback is not a life sentence. It's something we can embrace. It does not mean we are a failure. Research from Dr. Kristen Neff shows that self-compassion, far from being soft or indulgent, actually promotes greater resilience, healthier responses to stress, and more effective action than self-criticism. This is really key because people confuse self-compassion and being soft. I'm not talking about a free pass here or an excuse for bad behavior. Let's learn to tell the difference. I noticed this shift profoundly in my own physical fitness journey. When I exercised from a place of self-criticism, "You're so gross, out of shape, you have to fix this." When I did that, my workouts were inconsistent and left me depleted. When I shifted to compassion, I'm building strength because I care about my well-being. Not only did my consistency improve, but my results improved also. And the same principle applies to mental fitness. Growth happens much more effectively in the soil of compassion than in the soil of criticism. So I'm curious, which of these three building blocks resonates most with you right now? Emotional acceptance, deliberate discomfort, or self-compassion? Which one feels like it might be your growing edge? Considering this might give you a window into your own mental fitness and where you could focus more. So let's bring this all together. Today we've explored what mental fitness really means. Not avoiding life's challenges or forcing positivity, but building the capacity to engage with your whole life experience. We've looked at why this matters deeply, and we've explored three building blocks: emotional awareness and acceptance, deliberate discomfort, and self-compassion. Each supports the others, creating a foundation for resilience that helps you navigate life's ups and downs and everything in between. Before I wrap up, I want to acknowledge something really important. Everything we talk about in these mental fitness episodes is focused on finding a way through life's everyday challenges, the stresses, the disappointments, the transitions, the normal ups and downs we all face. I am not giving advice on how to handle diagnosed mental illnesses. I'm not a medical profession or a therapist, and I would never pretend to be. If you're experiencing persistent symptoms that are significantly impacting your ability to function, please reach out to a qualified professional. Mental health deserves the same care and attention as physical help. And sometimes you need more support. It's okay. That is brave to get support, and it's the right thing to do. What I am, however, is someone who has struggled with a severe mental illness for around 30 years, and I found a way to thrive. That doesn't mean I don't have bad days. I absolutely do, just like everyone else. But I've lived this journey, and I'm sharing what worked for me in the hope that it might help you too. Take what resonates and leave the rest. This conversation needs to be heard. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to know. DM me the word fitness and tell me, what's one thing that shifted your perspective on mental fitness? If this episode gave you something valuable, please don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might benefit. Sometimes just knowing we're not alone in our struggle is the most powerful gift we can receive. And if you love short, powerful insights, head to my YouTube channel. I drop bite-sized mental fitness tools in under a minute. Just search Lulu Essey on YouTube and you'll find me. Next week, I'll share practical mental fitness tools that you can use in under a minute to shift your emotional state, even during challenging moments. We'll explore quick ways to engage with difficult emotions, work with uncertainty, and build that compassionate relationship with yourself. And as always, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And today, like every day, with love and resilience, this comes straight from my heart to yours.